Welcome back. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're live, large and in charge. It's a Thursday morning, in case you didn't know. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you.
Friday Eve.
Now, no doubt, we all love our home, right? We love South Africa, but no one can take that away from us. But we all know how we feel right now during these very, very tough economic times at the moment. And no matter how big or small your tax bracket is, we all have bills to pay, and we all are finding it harder and harder to stretch those cents. And so this morning, we're joined by one of our favorite friends in finance, Sisa Kwikido, the head of the bank's retail investments, who's here to literally school us on how to split our monthly salary to optimize our spending and saving. A very important conversation to be having at this moment. And I love talking to you, Sisa, about money. You excite me about money. You give me hope about money. You make me look at money differently. Do you know what I mean?
I'm glad. Doing something right.
you also simplify it. And let's be honest, this is quite an emotional space. As much as we'd love to be just practical about our money, it's very personal, and often there are external factors that are driving us in one or other direction. The idea of splitting between saving and spending wisely, is there a magic formula? Is there something that we can all just implement in our lives, or is it a bit more complex?
You know what, it's like you're saying, it's a personal journey. Money is a very personal thing. I always ask people, actually, when I give talks, and I always ask them, so how much do you earn? And people's eyes go,
how can you ask me that? No, do I even know?
We don't talk about things like that, right? But it's very important to have an honest conversation with yourself about money. I simplify the money split, and I call it the 50-30-20 rule.
50-30-20. Okay.
So 50% of your income should be allocated to your needs. That's your bond, school fees, baby formula.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming, girl.
All of that, your rent, your food, etc. You know, the things that you absolutely cannot do without. And then your 30% needs to go to the things that you want.
Okay.
Because you gotta, right? You also don't want to resent your life. You don't want to be you don't want to be miserable about your life. You know what I mean? I mean, every now and then you want to go out for that breakfast, or you want to go out for that dinner, but you need to also be very realistic that it can't be every other day.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
All right.
It's important to do that for yourself. So 30% should go to your wants. Your shopping, your going out, your holidays. Nice things. But be realistic about it as well. And 20% should be allocated to getting out of debt. 1. Your rainy day fund. 2. Your investments and your savings. So for me, that 50-30-20 rule kind of simplifies or starts your investment journey. Now, there's people who are really good and who've been doing this thing for years and who have been maybe taught well about money. I always say, I wasn't taught about money. At home, money wasn't something we spoke about. I saw things get bought, and I saw them kind of come to an end, and I was told, money doesn't grow on trees, don't ask me about it. And it was always such a touchy subject. But for me, when I have this conversation and I try to simplify it for people, say, this is the pie chart. Start here. If anything else fails, just start here. And I know that some people, I mean, it's not easy. Not every single South African can do that. You know what I mean?
And when you look at that pie chart, that 20% is incredibly important to be putting away money for rainy days, debt, repayments and such. But what if somebody's looking at this and going, but I don't even have that 20%? Where do I even begin to find that 20%? Is it about really just kind of having a look at your monthly expenditure and going like, well, maybe what I think is a need is actually a want.
I want to need it.
Yes, exactly.
All the shoes I see, generally.
Oh, man was like guilty.
And I always have, there's always a size, so I want to need them. But I also have to be very realistic with myself. That's why I said it's important to sit, Michael Jackson, I'm talking to the man in the mirror. You know what I mean? You've got to literally have a man in the mirror conversation and be naked about it. Some people don't know how much they owe, right? You don't even know how much you owe. So how would you know how to save? And you're kind of, you're kind of working backwards if you're putting away 500 Rand when you owe 5,000 Rand, right? So start with the debt. Have the conversation with yourself. Yes, I don't have the 20% now, but how about I allocate a little bit more, a little bit less, to my wants, and a little bit more to clearing my debt, and then start the saving.
You want to talk about a good feeling. Yes, it's great to get to a point and say, wow, I've saved 20 grand. But when you get to a point and you go, wow, I've cleared my debt,
Right?
That feeling is good.
Right?
That is
freedom.
A feeling.
Right?
Freedom, yeah.
I remember a couple of years ago, so I had some credit card debt from, we don't call it black tax. My marketing manager, who's here with me today, always calls it black love. I love it.
Hey,
I love how she
I'm
does
with
it.
that.
I love
I'm
how
with
she
that.
does it.
Hashtag black
so,
love.
well done, TT. she calls it black love. So I had this this loan that I'd had to take up for home and whatnot. And I remember I used to resent this thing, man, because I'm like, this is not even for me and whatnot. But you know, sometimes you have to do those type of things.
Yeah.
But I had to prioritize paying that thing off, right? So when I did have extra money, if I got a 13th check or a little bonus or something, I'd put a little bit more into it. And that's something else that you can do, you know, because you're also saving yourself from the interest.
Yeah.
Think about that. And when you do clear up that debt, don't get used to having that money. We saw a couple of weeks ago interest rate cuts, our debt, which means our debt is going to cost us a little bit less, right? So if you had a bond that was like 10,000 Rand, now you're maybe paying 9,000 or whatever it is that you're paying, right? Depending on whatever your rate was. So you and I know, first month you see the 1,000 Rand, you can actually feel it. You're like, oh, I've got 1,000 Rand. Second month, where is it? Right?
Yeah.
So I say to people, allocate those funds into something else. Make it a stop order, a debit order, into a 32-day, a 12-month fixed deposit. Take something and put it away.
Yeah.
Because you're not even used to having it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those savings vehicles, how and where you should be saving that extra little bit of money if you do find it, you know, with the different benefits that are associated with each of those savings vehicles.
So I always say, and I think I've said this on the show before, is that we don't necessarily, as a business, we don't sell investment products. We sell dreams.
Yeah.
Linked to goals, people's goals. It's, I want to go on holiday. I want to renovate my house. I want to buy a house. So how do you help me do that? If I'm going on holiday, I want to put something away every single month. I'll take my money and I'll put it in a 32-day notice account. One, it stops me from spending it because I actually have to put in notice, and that's a schlep. You know what I mean? Well, you can do it on our app now. It's very easy. But my point is I have to wait 32 days.
And you got to think about it.
Sure.
Like, is it really worth doing it
right?
now?
I don't just pull it into my transactional account and I'm like, oh, let's buy those shoes. But
Seeing a comment thread here, the two of you, I'm now understanding why you guys like to.
I don't know if you know that I like shoes, but I mean, and then if I have a longer term savings and I mean, there's some companies that still pay bonuses, and there's still people who put like a little bit extra away and they have a 13th check, and you find, you know what, if it's 10,000, I can use 5,000, you've got 5,000 and take it and put it in a 12-month fixed deposit. It's not too long a term to lock you in it for too long, but you're also putting money away that works for you.
Yeah.
And it's at an interest rate that's beating inflation, meaning that your money is actually making money. I always say, take your money and put it where it can work. Even in a 32-day notice, you can earn with a Nedbank 32-day interest. 32-day account, you can earn up to 6.85% in interest. So your money is actually doing the work for you while you're just sitting there. So whatever you do, make sure that the money's working. And it's aligned to your goals.
50, 20, 30. Remember that pie chart. It's a great place to start. In fact, it all starts with an honest, a naked conversation with yourself. Look at your money. Think about where you can cut back and where you can begin to save and tackle that debt. But most importantly, just start the process. And for more information, you can go onto Nedbank's electronic fixed deposit account, their electronic Optimum Plus account. You can just head to nedbank.co.za for a wealth of great information. And if you're a Nedbank card holder, get the app. It is amazing.